Welcome back to Celebrity Jeopardy. My name is your host. This is why you don't have new introductions.
And I'm Turd Ferguson.
I guess there you go. That's funny.
Yeah.
And I'm Sean Connery.
You guys remember that Saturday Night Live?
When I say do you remember that? Like, we obviously weren't old enough to watch it live.
No, I'm still not old enough
right?
to watch it.
Like, do you remember watching that?
No. I don't.
Definitely not. I mean, it was like,
it's
90s?
It's TV 14 and I'm like 13, so give it another year and I can check out what all the hubbub's about.
I actually, my parents bought me the Best of Will Ferrell Volume 1 on DVD, which is what exposed me to Celebrity Jeopardy. And then the most famous one, which has French Stewart, Turd Ferguson, and our favorite Sean Connery.
Of course.
Yeah.
The wife beater
But
himself. Sean Connery beats his wife.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's an interview and like he did where he's like, sometimes the woman just needs a beating. So
It's not good.
no, it's not.
All right, I guess we're canceling Sean Connery now.
Yeah, Sean Connery, you're on blast.
You're canceled.
And because I don't think I said it last episode, my name's Spencer.
Did you not say it last time? Well,
no, I never said my mind. I never said my name.
That was a fun one, the Spear Point collar one. If you're listening to this one and you want to know what the hell Spear Point collars are, go back in time and listen to the other one when that came out.
Yeah, just one episode.
Yeah. But this time, this is style and direction, if you guys didn't know, and we're not used to silliness because we don't have any stuffiness.
Sure.
We're not a turkey pre-Thanksgiving. No, we are a turkey pre-Thanksgiving. We're not a turkey post-Thanksgiving or during.
Or after.
There's no stuffiness here.
Yeah.
Well, afterward there is no turkey.
That's correct. Yeah.
Unless you make a moist maker.
You
guys know that one?
Yep.
Anyway, so in this particular episode, we are going to be talking about rainy day attire. And
what the heck?
The reason why I wanted to talk about it.
Rain in Los Angeles?
Well, yeah, I was about to say that the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because, well, we don't get rain in Los Angeles.
Yeah, every time I look out at the sky and it's wet out there, I'm like, what the H is this stuff? Is it frickin' LaCroix coming out of the clouds? What's all this
you
wet
sound like you're doing
stuff?
an Alan Resnick impression.
Sure, yeah. I'm just so dang confused about this frickin' wet stuff
but yeah,
outside.
So it's something that I definitely am not used to. And it seems like it's such a big part of menswear because I don't know about Spencer, but I always loved coats growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like one of the things that I was like, this is awesome. I really like this is cool. Like pre-menswear, I just knew I loved wearing coats. And thankfully I did not become one of those guys who wears like a graphic t-shirt. Oh, I guess you could do that now, graphic t-shirt and coats. But what I'm thinking of is the whole neckbeard thing of wearing like a Star Wars t-shirt, plaid shorts, and then like a black trench coat.
You can
or
make
like
it
a black
look good,
duster or
but
something.
you have to be very careful.
Yeah, you don't want to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like I always loved coats, and I always idealized the idea of rain because I'm like, oh yeah, usually the rain means that you have to wear something to protect yourself. You're not going to wear shorts and flip-flops. You're going to wear something over it. And also, usually with the rain, it's most likely cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we don't live in... Like, Los Angeles is a fairly warm place, but it's not like we're in like the Philippines where you get like rain in the summer or something. Where
yeah, exactly. We get rain. We get rain for...
muggy.
I mean, when we're not in a drought, we get rain for a couple months. But usually the coldest it gets is like 50s, mid-50s.
Yeah, and it usually comes around wintertime and maybe the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
And
Last spring we got
a day
quite a bit of rain.
Or so. Yeah, and sometimes we get it in summer too.
Yep.
But because this is coming out in still early spring-ish time, it's still kind of cold here.
Yep.
And still very appropriate to be wearing it.
Yeah, because I'm
anyway,
looking at the
so that's why I
weather
wanted to
report.
talk about this because it's just. As Spencer knows that I dislike rain for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
Yep, that's all I gotta say.
That's true.
Well, if you know me, like you know that while I just said I love coats, I really hate the rain because of how difficult it makes everything. I'm not like a regular guy. I'm not like Spencer who just carries on his phone and his keys in his pocket. Like I always have some sort of bag. I always have a camera. Usually I'm trying to shoot something, whether it's an article or I'm going to an event. And the rain just makes everything worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a hassle, then you have all the bags that have to go to your car, then who's gonna, like, you have to hold your umbrella but you have to put your bag in there, and then it really it sucks. It's not like it's not the whole gentleman thing like, oh yeah, it's the rain, I get to put on my gloves, I get to put on my boots, put on my flannel tweed suits and put on the coat and walk out the door and be super dandy. Like to me it's like, ugh, if I put on the coat, I have to put on like a suit or whatever. That suit's probably gonna get wet.
Mm-hmm.
Shoes are gonna get wet. I'm gonna be standing in the rain because of all the shit I have, and it just feels awful.
And I mean, you also don't like the rain just because it like limits your wardrobe. Like you have to wear specific shoes, like you said, you have to throw on a coat, stuff like that. Where most days, if it was just chilly, you could basically wear whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. But the rain adds a little bit more to it. That you have to think about. Like you can't wear suede. I mean, you can probably wear suede shoes. I know some people do that, and I've done it before. But if you were being intentional and smart about it, you wouldn't do that. Yeah. You would treat everything, and yeah. So, but I always feel lazy whenever it's raining because it's like I know I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
When it's raining. I think I've heard that in California, like even though people say you can't drive in the rain, or Californians can't drive in the rain, it's not normally that traffic if you plan it out correctly because people will refuse to drive in the rain.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clear. Unless you're like in rush hour, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But typically it's pretty clear, and a bunch of restaurants will do like, oh, come in, have dinner for a discount. I've seen Islands, shout out to Islands, say like, I think it was like, oh, get 20% off for like rainy days or something, like rainy day lunch or dinner or something, and I'm like, I almost did it, because it's like I love Islands.
Of course, not a
Shout
sponsor,
out to
just
Islands.
a fan.
Not just a huge fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like to me, rain always equals laziness.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you think, Spencer? What are your thoughts on rain?
Well, like you said, I never have to carry as much stuff around, so I don't mind the rain as much.
Yeah, I'm like the only one out of everyone who just doesn't like the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's kind of annoying that I have to wear, like, I don't really have that many shoes that are good for rain, which is why every time it rains, I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to buy duck shoes, and then I never do because I'm like, or duck, like, LL Bean duck boots because I just don't want to spend my money on it. But yeah, I mean, I just basically wear what I would normally wear on just cold days, especially cold days. Mm-hmm. But I throw on a hat. Most of the time, unless I'm going to be spending a lot of time outdoors, I don't bother with an umbrella because as long as I have a hat, I'm pretty much set.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, there are definitely, and we're going to get into this in a couple minutes, a couple of kind of go-to like outerwear pieces that I put on when it's raining.
Interesting. So I guess it doesn't rain that hard though. But what do you do?
No.
I guess we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, it never. And also the thing about California rain is, yeah, it never really rains much more than like a heavy sprinkle, I guess, or very, very rarely. And when it does, it's chaos because like power goes out and shit like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, again, more reasons why I dislike the rain because I feel like I've had experiences with bad rain before.
Uh-huh.
Then again, I unlike Spencer, everything I do is so far from me that I have to drive everywhere for it. Mm-hmm. And I don't like work. I don't work like 20 minutes from my house, so I have to deal with even more stuff, and it's just very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But this will lead into the meat and potatoes of our article. I've decided that I don't want to be lazy in the rain anymore.
Wow.
which is what inspired me to start writing this article, which then inspired me to be like, hey, we should discuss this because it's kind of an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Since people, I mean, some of these articles and especially the podcast, as we've said before, are kind of more geared toward when people ask us like our thoughts about certain topics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually when we go live. And so I'm like, okay, we should talk about rain. So let's talk about what we actually do wear in the rain. Now, what is you mentioned, Spencer, that you have some go-tos. Now, what's your main go-to for the rain? You mentioned hats.
Yeah, so I'll usually just wear like a ball cap. I do have like a waterproof bucket hat that I break out occasionally. The jacket I almost always go to is my M43 because that thing is a fucking tank.
Oh yeah.
I've walked like there was one time when it was like raining in LA and I walked from a restaurant I was at to my car, which was maybe like 15-20 minute walk. Did not soak through. It was crazy. But that and then like just and then my Chippewa boots usually. Now that I bought and we'll get into more detail about why we like all these pieces later, but just like vintage field jackets in general, like I just got a deck jacket, a World War II naval deck jacket, a reproduction one from our friend Doug that I imagine would be very good for the rain.
Oh yeah, I've seen that thing in person. That's a literal tank.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that the M43 is a really good one. I mean, I had one before Spencer did,
Mm-hmm.
and that was my go-to rain jacket for a while. I guess if we talk about the stuff that we've had, I was gifted a Burberry trench coat that I don't really wear. It's kind of sad, but because it's kind of fashiony. I mean, I'm sure it's plenty waterproof. It just kind of feels, it's like slim fit. It's kind of short.
Yeah.
Thigh length, which is not good. And before I get further, let me just say that my mantra with rain is basically you have to dress comfortably,
Mm-hmm.
and that's open to interpretation because, like, obviously boots are the best thing to wear in the rain. They cover up past your ankle. They're usually have like a rubber sole or something that can help for traction or whatever. But for a guy like me who who takes their shoes off at home or just goes back and forth between different things, it's a hassle to wear boots because it
Mm-hmm.
takes up a lot. And I only have one real pair of boots, which is a fairly recent purchase, my Alden custom Aldens from a store called a defunct store called Carroll and Company. They don't have speed hooks, so it takes and they're made of shell cordovan and the leather laces, so they're pretty tough to unlace and relace as I need it. And then I have chukka boots, but then those are suede and they're kind of dressy and they're, you wouldn't really wear those. So that kind of leaves either wearing regular dress shoes or sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
But then of course sneakers don't go with everything that you want to wear. I personally don't like wearing sneakers with tailoring unless it's very casual or very summer oriented, and even then sneakers I take to mean like espadrilles, which look like loafers. But yeah, so to me comfort was always the way to do it. And the M43, like Spencer says, it's the ones that we have are true vintage. They're not like our jungle jackets. Our jungle jackets are more like shirt jackets because they're very thin. Our field jackets are made of like super tough cotton. They don't really soak through.
Yeah, because that's what it was designed for. It's a field jackets were designed to deal with weather, so that's what makes them so good for the rain.
Yeah, and again, like it's my, and still is one of my favorite go-tos for just general outerwear. I guess my only caveat is that it gets kind of cold because the cotton doesn't really repel. It's not really warm,
Mm-hmm.
But if you layer with it, it's pretty good. I fixed my collar because right at the stress point in the back of the neck it was ripped, but now that I put a new I patched it up with another piece of cotton, it actually stays up, so I can actually protect myself from the elements now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my only thing with it is that it's kind of short and it gets kind of repetitive very easily, I guess. It's, yeah, you can wear it over a suit or wear it over some tailoring or a sweater. I personally think it looks best with like jeans. And of course,
Yeah.
and then jeans are like my go-to for the rain, just because jeans don't really get wet very easily, like compared to like wool, where it'll soak the water, or chinos. It'll With jeans, it takes a lot of water to kind of like soak it. And
Mm-hmm.
by jeans, I mean like selvage denim, like not
And I
like
mean, and
yeah,
generally they'll dry relatively quickly too.
yeah. Um, but so if we're going back to the main question, like that was my basic uniform for the rain, like field jacket, selvage denim, maybe like a sweater, just because I didn't feel like wearing a tie, because I don't want my tie to flop around and get wet. And then I guess a beanie, or I guess
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a beanie. I like bucket hats more for spring, summer than fall, winter, so I don't really wear that to protect myself from the rain too much. Um,
Although yours are waxed cotton, it would probably do a pretty decent job at that.
well, one of them is wax cotton. I
Oh
lost the
well,
other
yeah,
one. Remember in New
that's
York?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, yeah, technically bucket hats are a good one. They're just most people don't like them just because of how casual they are and floppy they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for me, I can't wear a bucket hat with a field jacket just because I feel like I'm leaning too hard into Vietnam
Okay,
kind of
yeah, that's
style.
fair.
Like, I mean, yeah, look at it. Wearing a green jacket with an olive green bucket
Or
hat.
as our friend Jay described it, like fisherman style.
Yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
that's also a thing because it gets pretty wet on the boat, right? And you
Yeah,
want
because you're in there. You're in the water.
you're surrounded by rain.
Yeah, the rain that's just pooled up into these lakes.
Out here, it's called the sea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for a long time that was like my go-to kind of look, and it's a far cry from, you know, the tailored looks that most people like, trench coats and overcoats and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, I mean, after a while, I started like kind of looking into like what the Armory or what Drake's or what happens at Pity,
Mm-hmm.
when it rains. I think it rained last Pity. I don't know. It rains usually at least one day out of every fall winter Pity, and that's a good place to get inspiration, because I always feel that the way to combat laziness in general, like making lazy outfits, is that number one, you have to have inspiration behind your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to be like, okay, I want to look like this. And number two is just resist the urge to be lazy, like commit to your look. And so that's what I've been doing. And so because I didn't feel right just always wearing a field jacket and selvage denim, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to do something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so if we move on to like what we do wear in the rain now, or or new things that I wear in the rain, I really like my barn coat from
Oh
J.
yeah,
Crew.
that's another great piece. It's also because that one is a cotton jacket, but I believe it has the wool lining.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's like flannel or blanket
Yeah.
lining. I like it. It's a little bit less rugged than the field jacket.
Uh huh.
And again, you can see pictures of this all on the blog post.
It's kind
that
of
will
like
come with
'80s
it.
prep vibes.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the idea of kind of making it like, I like the idea of doing my field jacket preppy, and I like making my barn jacket more tailored.
Mm-hmm.
Just to separate things, just to kind of mix it up, because as much as I like doing, period looks, I always like the idea of making it like my own.
Yeah.
And I think in the blog post, I'm wearing like a fedora and a tweed jacket with the barn coat, just to make it interesting. Because to me, my barn coat is like really red, so it's kind of like a cotton Mackinaw, or the way I think about it. And a Mackinaw jackets were kind of this heavy plaid, usually red jackets,
Yeah.
worn back in like the 30s to like the 50s or even 60s. And you can see pictures of guys wearing it with fedoras. It's not exactly rainwear, but the fact that mine is cotton, so it doesn't soak up like wool, I like wearing it in the rain. And and it's also vibrant and red. It's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of interesting. It's not really like, you're not really succumbing to the mugginess of the of rain.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you wear yours in the rain?
My Mackinaw.
Well, no,
Or
I
my
meant
barn coat.
your barn coat.
Yeah, I do. I mean, if we're gonna talk about like basic rain outfits, I
Yeah.
usually just do like a simple layering thing. So I do like a sweater. More recently, sometimes like my Brown's Beach vest or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And then a jacket over that, because as you said, some of the jackets that we're talking about aren't necessarily meant to keep you warm,
Yeah.
but are
Hmm.
very helpful for, keeping the rain off of you.
Yeah, and
Um,
then that's the biggest trade-off, I think. Like, because the thing with layering up is that if water does get through, like I would hate to wear a wet sweater,
yeah.
and you know, or a wet coat even,
Hmm.
So, and you were saying something.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's the same thing as I said earlier. Usually, I'm not spending too much time in the rain, because
Hmm.
that's the other thing about Southern California is there's people don't really walk much because everything's super
That's
spread
true.
out.
That's true. Yeah.
So at most, I'll be walking from the parking lot to my work or from the parking lot to class and then back to my car and stuff like that. I don't really go for walks in the rain. I don't like pina coladas, and I do not like getting caught in the rain.
Please go to sadjokesexplained.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I never really think about too, because I feel like maybe I just, always make it a hassle, or maybe it's because the rain always catches me off guard. Like I never think to look at the weather. Like
Mm-hmm.
I look at it through the at the beginning of each week, just to kind of get kind of like an idea of what the not precipitation wise, but like temperature wise of what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
And then usually, oh, it's actually going to physically like rain and have water drop from the sky, and oh shit, I got to prepare for that now. So maybe that's why, even if I'm like, I'm at work, I don't walk outside. I walk
Mm-hmm.
like 2 steps to my car in the parking area behind it. I walk again. I go home, put my car in the garage, or walk the 10 or 15 feet from
Yeah.
my driveway inside. So it's not that big of a deal, but it's less like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making. I mean, I'm sure maybe New Yorkers hate it walking
Yeah.
around, and just imagine a guy who's not used to walking around who has to deal with the 5 to 10 minutes of actual rain they have to experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather it be zero.
Yeah.
Although I love rain looks.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, it's like as I was talking about, there's so much stuff that I want, but I just don't really need. I don't feel the need to spend money on just because I would wear it so infrequently. Things like the duck boots again, or a barber jacket, stuff like that, which you could put together the perfect rain outfit, but it just happens so infrequently that I don't think it's worth the investment.
That's true. But sometimes they are worth the investment, because there was one time where we were.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how this how did this happen?
We were shooting that thing that you were doing for Styleform, where you recreated an old Lawrence Fellows illustration, and that happened to be like the rainiest day
of 2017.
of 2017, 16, whenever that was.
Yeah.
It was pouring, like
It was
hard
torrential.
rain.
Like,
Like that's probably the hardest rain we've had like since then.
well, no, we had a pretty bad couple weeks. Well, okay, so we're recording this like late February.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago there was some pretty heavy rain.
Mm-hmm. Like the
Um,
video game.
yeah. That's funny.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so that day, so we were planning to hang out in Old Town Orange, and I think I brought a coat with me just in case. I don't know what it was, but we should have known that it was raining pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also, I think, the only day we could hang out and actually shoot with each other. Like this is, I was still in college or doing something. I still had 2 jobs, and Spencer was.
I don't know what I was doing.
Were you in high school? I don't even know. what
No,
you
I
were up
wasn't
to.
in high school. I think that might have been like around the time when I was starting my job.
Okay, yeah. So basically, like we didn't have a lot of free time with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were committed to doing this whole thing, and yeah, we were just caught up in it, and we were shooting in Joyride because again, we're not going to be outside in the rain because
Yeah.
it was pouring,
Mm-hmm.
and we randomly asked Rob, the head of the owner of Joyride. We said, "Do you have any trench coats?" And he goes like, "Oh, I actually do." And
Yeah, he had 2 of them, and they were our respective sizes.
Yeah. And so I got a 1950s. He said it was French, but I think that I don't know why he said that. Maybe like from what I remember, the label says like something that I don't know, like how like campus, like it just has some
Mhm.
generic ass name. I don't know if it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was basically like a shell trench coat,
Mm-hmm.
just cotton, and it was like a shell. Like there's no inside pockets. In fact, the hip pockets, I guess, of the jacket are just like kind of like holes to reach into where your suit jacket pockets are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very light belted, and I mean I could like ball it up. It would get wrinkled because it's cotton, but it's very transportable and very light.
Yeah.
And yours?
Mine was like a 1930s. It's kind of like a mix between a trench coat and just a regular overcoat, because it's like heavier. It's wool gabardine and it has shoulder padding. And it did very well that day, keeping me dry. But the other, I wish that mine was more like yours, just because I think that is a really good raincoat for Southern California, just because of how light it is, and how it's just water repellent, not heat, trapping. But the problem with mine is that when it gets wet, it smells really bad.
Oh yeah, there's the whole thing of vintage clothing getting musty.
Yeah.
Just when it gets wet, which is why you're not really supposed to. I guess you can wash it. I don't know how. There's like, I think Gentleman's Gazette has a video on that. You sprinkle vodka on it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, as we established, I'm 13, so I can't get my hands on vodka.
Right, there you go. And obviously trench coats are one of the best things. Literally, I mean, they were designed for that use.
Yeah.
They were worn by military officers in World War One, and then they became civilian use shortly afterward. By Burberry, Aquascutum, and of course, not just British brands, but Americans started making them too. But as much as I like the idea of the trench coat and how well it looks with like a navy suit or whatever, with tailoring, wear a fedora, if you want to add to it, it gets kind of costumey to me.
Yeah, and it's really hard to wear with more casual looks.
Yeah, maybe if you got like a navy trench coat, and of course we're talking about the classic double-breasted trench coat.
Yeah.
Not the Mac or the Balmacan style, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking like Humphrey Bogart, End of Casablanca, or Maltese Falcon, whatever you want to call it. That look. And in those situations, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, and throwback to the Gatsby episode with Nick's weird-ass rain outfit of cardigan, trench coat, boater.
That's so weird.
Yeah, seriously.
Such a weird outfit.
But
yeah, like you really can't like imagine you can't imagine Humphrey Bogart's outfit being worn casually. And especially with us, like as much as we like wearing suits, I think that we established in our inspiration episode two pods ago, that we like being kind of more casual lately.
Yeah, just because that's something. It's like, and this is something we'll get to in our upcoming casual outfits episode. But at least in my case, my sense of style was kind of like when I first played Pokemon.
Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go to the polls, in that I leveled up my Blaziken to 100, and Blaziken here representing like sartorial style, but neglected everything else, meaning casual style. So now I'm trying to catch up.
What a fun reference.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I'm the same way too.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I as much as I wanted to wear my trench coat a lot, I couldn't do it. And like to echo what you said, if we're talking about like days we're actually going out, I'm probably more casual. Like the issue with the trench coat is that if it was the weekend and it was raining, if I'm wearing the trench coat to protect myself from the rain, I feel like I'd have to wear tailoring with it. I could not. Yeah. You can't wear just skinny, slim jeans. You can't wear wallabies with it. And so that kind of led us to, wearing our field jackets and the barn coats, which we mentioned earlier. At least for me, that's what I did.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because again, those are very good at keeping the wet out off of you, and so and it's significantly more casual than a long coat.
But then there's the opposite side where I was like, dang, now I don't know what to wear with tailoring, because again, I still have my trench coat. It was very affordable. It was like $50. It wasn't an insane price for something that I don't really wear too often. But then when you look at the article, like you see all these guys wearing kind of like long coats and everything. I'm like, damn, I still do like that. Like I still want to do that.
It just looks cool.
It just looks cool. And if you look at it, most of these stuff in the inspiration, they aren't wearing like the typical tan double-breasted trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as some of them clearly are, but like in general, it's not really that cool. And I was like, you know what? I really want to look cool wearing in rain gear, and I wanted something long, that's something that could go between casual and formal very easily.
Yeah.
And by those I mean like workwear ivy and you know tailor flannel suits and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking. I think one of the favorite ones I think is the Mark coat worn by Mark Cho.
Yeah.
It's like this giant raglan sleeved coat. I think it's actually more of like an overcoat because it's made of like a Melton wool or something. If Mark Cho is listening to this, he can just correct us and we'll issue a retraction.
Great.
But I've loved like the whole flowing, the kind of A-line silhouette, and it's a dark color,
Mm-hmm.
which I think makes it a bit more versatile. And it's single breast. I mean, I think his is just belted, but a single breasted coat is technically more casual and more wearable.
It's just easier to wear, yeah.
Yeah, because when you have a double breasted one, it doesn't really look good unfastened.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you close it up, then you start to get like Inspector Gadget territory. And that's one reason why I also don't like wearing like jeans with my brown trench coat, because even though I think Inspector Gadget, the animated cartoon, is wearing like not jeans but like blue odd trousers or suit trousers, I cannot get the association out of my head like if I'm wearing jeans with a brown trench coat.
You're just Matthew Broderick.
Well, I'm talking animated movie, not
Okay.
the actual one. He's wearing brown. He's wearing a brown suit underneath.
Oh, fine.
Come on, dude, get your canon right.
Okay.
But yeah, so like I mean, again, this goes back to like the whole I don't know if we talked about this on the pod, but like when you wear like a white shirt and olive chinos, I think of Peter Griffin, like because he's
Mhm.
wearing a white shirt and green pants. So there are these subtle, guidelines that I place for myself when I'm getting dressed, and so I wasn't getting my mileage out of the brown trench coat, and that's when I eventually started to I decided to pull the trigger on like the Uniqlo Block Tech one, which I think has been out for a long time. They just issued a new version of it, but in my Uniqlo's in my mall and in Glendale, they had this like they call it the convertible block tech coat, convertible collar. I mean, because it kind of has a sport shirt collar,
Yeah.
which lays flat. There is no collar band on it. Like if you think of like a Cuban collar shirt, that's like basically what it is. Like it kind of just props up or it's wide, and it's like my brown trench coat. It's literally just a shell. There's no inside pockets. There is side hip pockets, and
Mhm.
unfortunately they don't connect to the inside of the coat. But it's made of like a microfiber. It's not wool. It's not cotton. It's like some whatever the block tech material is. But man, that coat is awesome.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
Yeah, I sized up. I got a medium because I tried on the small in the store, and the small it fit correctly, but it was just too short. Like it was like at my knee or a little bit above my knee. And so when I got a medium, of course the shoulder seam was a little bit extended, sleeves are a little bit long, but the length of the body, like I think it went just past my knee, which is what I
Yeah.
wanted. And obviously we're on the side of long coats here because it doesn't make sense to wear a short coat.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna get water splashing on you, say if you're sitting down like at a bus stop or you're just sitting outside or something, and it starts to rain, you don't want your pants to get wet. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like it was a great purchase. It's basically water repellent. I haven't like dumped water on it or anything, but
You
like
should.
I should. But when I go pick up my girlfriend or like the whole week that it was raining, like I noticed that like the water was kind of just staying on the coat, and I was totally fine on the inside, and it's awesome,
Mhm.
and I really recommend it. I mean, if you can find them at your local Uniqlo, like mine, there's like every color: black, navy blue. I got the navy blue one, brown. They were all there in like every size, and they were marked down to $79.99 or something like that. And so I just was like, I'm gonna buy this, and I know
It's
I'm
pretty
gonna
good.
wear it a lot more because I can actually wear it with jeans because it's dark, it's single breasted. You can prop the collar. You don't have any Casablanca vibes. I wear it with a ball cap, my fugitive ball cap,
Which is
because
really cool.
it's a cool one, yeah, and kind of gives me some Chase Winifrey vibes. He's a big advocate of, like, the dad cap, whatever you want to call it, and he wears it. If you look at his Instagram, just look up Chase Winfrey. I'm sure you'll find him, but he does wear his cap with his coats or his barber jackets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, no, it's perfect. It goes with everything. It's very versatile. And I don't know if it's still available. And I haven't seen the new one, because I think the new one is Uniqlo U, and some stores don't get them. But if you can find them, I heavily recommend it.
Didn't you say that you got? Well, you said you got it on markdown, right?
Yeah, it was like 120 originally. Then it was like 79 for the clearance or whatever.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe they still have it.
Yeah, maybe they still have it. And if not, just try it on. I mean, it's you really can't beat it. I mean, obviously there are, I think Articles of Style has like a waterproof one. I know that Laura Piana has a rain system fabric, like a microfiber fabric, and Ascot Chang did a reversible MAC coat, which one side is cashmere, one side is rain system. So it's like, then it solves that problem where if it's cold, you wear the cashmere side, and if it's raining, you wear the rain system side.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's if you find it, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, what are your goals? Like, what do you like? I found mine. Like, I know that you've been looking for a barber jacket for a long time.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's like there's our friend Chase has a barber jacket. After I followed Mr. Slowboy on Instagram, he did like an advertising campaign for Barber, and just drew illustrations of all these menswear dudes in their barber jackets, and I'm like, damn, this is sick as fuck.
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, one of my favorite pictures of Jake Grantham has him wearing his barber jacket.
Yep,
at
looking
Pity.
at it now, yeah. And yeah, I mean, at least the ones that I've tried on, they haven't been heavy, which is another thing that I always look for in rain gear, because again, normally, even if it's raining in Southern California, it's still going to be 57, 58 degrees.
Yeah.
So it never gets too cold, and if I have a sweater, I don't want to overheat with a heavy jacket on top. But the barber jackets I've tried on in person have always been pretty lightweight. Can you explain barber jackets for people who don't know? Oh, yeah. So Barber jackets, well, Barber is a company that's been around, I think, 1890s. They make these waxed cotton jackets with a corduroy collar, and usually like it's lined with like this plaid wool. Very classic. I don't know what else to say about them except they look badass, and give it a Google or just look at the companion article. But yeah, it's like kind of very like military. The vintage ones looked a lot like kind of motorcycle jackets.
They're basically the same length as like a M43 or a barn
exactly.
coat. So they're meant to be worn a bit more casually. You can wear them over a suit if you want to, but they're not a coat.
Yeah, exactly. It's very good for classic like English outdoor stuff. Like they were very popular with sailors and fishermen. It's very popular, like hunting gear, stuff like that.
I think what turned me on to that was when I watched Kingsman, and Merlin, played by Lord Blackwood, from Mark Strong. There we go. That's what it is. He wears in the training scenes, because he oversees the Kingsman. If you guys don't know what Kingsman is, but he wears a barber jacket, but it's one of the belted versions. I think they call it like a motorcycle or a biker jacket. Mm-hmm. I just call it a belted jacket, and that's what made me get my own belted jacket, which unfortunately was corduroy and not barber, but that's the one for a different time.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think that barber, if we were redoing our wardrobe and we could get anything we wanted, I think that might be the better choice over the M43, just because wax cotton. I mean, you can wax your M43 if you wanted to. You just add wax to it.
Yeah.
But barber jackets are inherently made with wax cotton. Then you can, wax them further, and they're really cool. I mean, they're green. They're like a super dark green. Our M43s are kind of like a more faded green because of the age. So again, darker is cleaner looking, and it allows you to to wear it with a bit more Like I could see myself wearing it, like as much as I said, like English countryside or Ivy casual outfits, and you can see the guys at Pity wearing them over their like flannel suits and DBs and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about headgear for a second.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we mentioned the bucket hat, and yeah, I mean I wrote a whole article on that last year. I love the bucket hat. It took a long time to grow on me. I think it's probably the best one. I think just because it provides 360 degrees of protection,
Yeah.
and it's very casual. I like it worn with separates. I wouldn't really wear it with a suit, but separates is usually what you're probably gonna wear, if you're going to work in like flannel all trousers and a hopsack jacket. But then it'll also go with more casual stuff, like say if you're just wearing a sweater or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the only downside is like what Spencer said earlier, where it makes you look like you're a fisherman, especially when you wear it with like a barber or a field jacket or anything kind of slouchy, or even like a barn coat or something.
But maybe that's what you're going for. Who knows?
And maybe that is.
Yeah.
What else? What else do we mentioned the ball cap?
Yeah, the ball cap we've mentioned. I wear ball caps all the time. Those are good because again, the amount of rain that I'm taking, all I really want is that my head stays dry. I'm not worried about it soaking through my clothes because I'm just not going to be out long enough for that to happen.
Right.
So if my head stays dry, I'm cozy, I'm comfortable.
Now, what ball caps do you have? Because we're not usually talking about like sports caps. Because my Fugitive one is technically kind of like a sport one. It's kind of stiff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a cheap cotton. But yours are different.
Most of mine come from either Ebbets Field or I think Superior Cap Company. Something like that. We'll update that if I get it wrong, which I think I did. Who are now making caps for Bryceland's Ideal Cap Company. That's it.
They are the ideal.
Yeah, they are the ideal.
Yeah.
So those are like kind of vintage style. They're wool. Most of them have a stiff brim, but not all of them do. But the top is like completely soft. And then the other one that I have is my one from Rowing Blazers, which is corduroy. But same thing, it has like kind of a low profile, stiff brim, but it's a very soft kind of like, floppy hat, whatever.
And out of the two, which one do you like to be wearing?
I mean, I wear the two I wear most often are my Brooklyn Eagles cap, which just looks like a Yankees cap, except like in sans serif font, and my Rowing Blazers one. Those I just wear all the time because those two look good with everything.
Yeah, how do you feel about the stiff brim versus the soft brim? Because I'd feel like I would want stiff just to that way it doesn't soak through from the rain.
I used to think that it would be that the soft brim was cool just because again it's not a detail you see as much anymore on hats.
That's true.
But in retrospect, I appreciate the stiff brim.
I think it's more practical, which is why I lean toward. Because I think I have a soft brim cap somewhere that someone gave me. I just don't wear it because, number one, the Fugitive is cool. It's literally it's a black with red font with the Fugitive, and it was either could have been like a, I don't know who made the Fugitive. Is it NBC? Could have been like an NBC gift store, or it could just be like a rap party gift, from the 80s movie, because it was based on like a 60s TV show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably from the 80s. It's not a 60s cap or anything. But that's why I like wearing it. It's stiff. It's still cotton. It's not like, kind of like that scratchy poly whatever crap. But it's definitely like, the ball cap, like a dad cap. It's not the soft vintage inspired one that Bryceland's is now stocking, or the ones from Ebbets Field.
Yeah.
I wear that one. Yeah. I like wearing mine basically because I think it goes with everything. I see a lot of the Drake's guys wear their caps, after work. They put it on with their sport coats. I obviously wouldn't wear it with a suit. But if you've got more of a slimmer suit or cotton suit, I think it would go well with it.
And it's a really great way to dress down an outfit like you did with a bucket hat, and it's very East Coast dad vibes, which I like.
Yeah, I would always joke. I was talking to my friend Christian, and I'm like, if you wear an overcoat with a ball cap, you'd look like a New York dad or like a New York adult man. Yeah. And that's also a look, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think the difference there is that if you style everything accordingly, you have tailored trousers, or you're wearing, nice boots or heavy. I guess we gotta talk about footwear in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you style it right, you won't look as a dad. Look too much like a dad. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll still look like a dad, but a good dad.
A good dad.
A hot dad.
Yeah, a DILF.
Yeah. But before we move on to shoes, I want to mention the fedora real quick. Now that I think is, I like the bucket hat. I obviously think it's the best one, even though it's hard to wear with like a field jacket. But the fedora, I think, has the same properties. Has 360 degrees of separation. No, I'm just kidding. Of protection. And if you get a good one, like if you get wool, it'll probably get soaked. But if you do the one I think mink or beaver fur, whatever, if you do bespoke or you get Stetson or whatever, it tends to be better. And I think the rain actually helps. If it's a new hat, it'll soften up. I've been trying to wear my Wellama one as much as I can. I have a bespoke hat from Wellama in a brown, that has the Indiana Jones vibe to it. But it really gets the job done. I would look at Bryceland's for the inspiration there. I either wear it, brim up or brim down, depending on how casual or formal the outfit is. And that one I like wearing with my field jacket because it has that kind of rugged American look.
Mm-hmm.
Like wearing a fedora with an overcoat gets a little bit too 40s cosplay to me, even though that's probably the best way to combine both worlds. But I always like to juxtapose different things just to kind of have a different vibe or to subvert, I guess, my own mental biases, kind of stuff. But yeah, Spencer, do you wear your fedora? I mean, I know it's hard for you because you don't really do that formal stuff.
I do occasionally, but it's again mostly at events where we're hanging out. I don't like wearing my fedora to class or whatever.
You gotta get those spicy senoritas to notice you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like wearing my fedora to class. So if we're going to an event and it's raining, or if we're just hanging out and it's raining, I might throw it on, but not every day.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now why don't we talk about shoes before we close out now?
Yeah, let's talk shoes, like the viral video.
What?
It's a viral video from like 10 years ago where it's a man dressed up as a woman. It's like, oh my god, shoes, and it's a song.
Oh yes, I remember this now. Yeah,
course.
okay, I remember that. Wow, God, that's a trip.
I know.
Yeah.
That guy's making videos still, I think.
Well, what is he like? Hi, I'm Ron. I know it's not Hi, I'm Ron. Do you remember Ron?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
He played the accordion. He was friends with, like, Shane Dawson and Philip DeFranco.
Okay.
And I
mostly watched Philip DeFranco.
What's he up to?
I'm still making
Leave
videos.
a comment down below if you
Ray
think
William
that
Johnson,
should,
I was into him too.
We should review
on
YouTube.
Like, I watched one of his videos recently, and it's
equals 3.
Man, that did not
That's
hold
my
up.
transition thing.
Yeah.
Beeping every word.
Yep.
Anyway, I know we briefly talked about shoes at the beginning, but what do you wear? I know you talk about your Chippewa boots.
Yeah, I wear my boots most of the time because, as we said earlier, boots are some of the best things that you can wear in the rain. I don't think my boots have a storm welt, so they're not like the perfect rain boot, but they get the job done well enough. They're sturdy leather. They cover my ankle, so it's like I'm not gonna get my socks soaked through.
Mm-hmm.
And they're it takes a little bit to put it on, but you know what? It's fine.
I used to also have like work boots. Mine were from like Fry, I think, through Nordstrom that I got for my birthday. Man, back in like 2014. Mm-hmm. Back then, I knew about the whole cuff jeans and work boot look, but I never did it right.
Yeah.
But now, like I said, I have these Alden shell cordovan shoes, and because of they're a bit more elegantly designed and they're shell cordovan, they actually work with chinos and odd trousers very well. Mm-hmm. So that kind of stopped me. Like, that's been kind of a part of my journey of, I don't have to just do the whole selvage jeans and work boot look. I can actually wear it with tailoring, but also protect my feet. I don't have to relegate myself to wearing dress shoes in the rain just because I'm already wearing a suit or something. But again, I hate lacing them. I think I remember one time we had a bunch of friends over, or I did. I think Spencer was not there. But I think we went to Target, and then we came back home, and then we went to go get food. So I was like just lacing up and unlacing. It took forever just because these shoes are very tough, and the laces are leather, and there's no speed hook, so I had to just pull, go down like 4 or 5 levels just to be able to get my feet out of there. But those have been those boots, they were $800, or they were $800 before tax, but because the store was going out of business, I got them for $600, so it's about like $650 with tax. And I love wearing them. I took them to Seattle. It didn't rain. I was prepared for it though, but I was in Seattle and I wore them the whole time there. I wore them for a couple of days in San Francisco. If I went to New York in the winter, I would definitely bring those guys. But they are really great. Obviously, I don't want to recommend everyone just go buy Shell Cordovan, but if you can do it, if you can, yeah, the tanker boot is really cool. I think that's the one that's most similar. Of course, there is the Alden's or Alden indie boots and whatever, which are a bit more casual. So I don't know how well they would work with tailoring if you wanted to go that route. But yeah, I love mine, and they've been my go-to. I don't really have to relegate myself again. But with that said, sometimes I like wearing some of my more chunkier shoes.
Yeah.
Like I have these like crepe rubber sole whatever, like 1950s Bluchers that I love wearing in the rain. Just because they're not leather soled, and they're a bit more interesting. They kind of have they give me a pair boot kind of vibe, even though they're definitely not pair boots. I also like wearing my split toes, because I think both of our split toes actually are kind of a chunkier last and design. They're both from Allen Edmonds, but they're different models, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
because mine has the I think this was, I don't know if it was something that the original owner put on there, if it was how it was originally, but mine has that kind of boot sole, like the rubber sole.
Oh, interesting. So that makes them pretty good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wearing derbies in the rain. I prefer not to, because I don't want my socks getting soaked. And that's not to say that with boots it can't happen. I mean, if you went to I'm not saying you just jump into a big puddle, but I feel more comfortable wearing my boots in the rain than regular shoes. There was one time we were in New York and we got caught in the rain.
Yep, I was wearing my suede boots, my suede,
my suede boots,
my suede chukkas, and so those got fucking soaked. And it's that's a good way to break them in, add some character to them.
This is slightly
but
off
I wouldn't
topic.
Intentionally wear them in pouring rain like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember. Do you remember when we went to go visit PJT, and the only boots I had at the time were my suede chukkas, and then I think Dan or Tyler was like, "Suede in the rain, nice," and I'm like, "They're my only boots." So, but yeah, I think that same day in New York, it was summertime, and I don't think the forecast said anything about rain. It just caught us totally unprepared.
Yeah, it was pretty hot, very summery during the day, and then it started. And then as the night went on,
it rained a little. Okay, so it rained a
sprinkled.
little bit in New York, but as soon as we took the bus over from New York to New Jersey, where we were staying, it was torrential rain. It was a storm. I had to junk my umbrella because it was dead. It was
anything that we wore that day we could not wear because we didn't have access to a dryer, and it was like you had jumped in a pool wearing it. It was insane.
Yeah, I was wearing sneakers, and also at this time, my feet were starting to die. I don't know if we didn't really. Oh, I think we did recap our New York trip.
Yeah, I think so.
In the pod. Okay, so, but you guys should know that I had blisters on my feet. I had wrapped them in Band-Aids. This was only a couple of days in, but I would each day just gets worse, and basically, those canvas sneakers were just soaked to the bone.
Yeah.
All of our outfits spent the next few days in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because they were just drying and everything, and and that's also one reason why I had to dry clean everything in my bag, because even if after I packed them up and wrapped the wet clothes in a garbage bag or a plastic bag, it still smelled. So I was like, I'm gonna have to dry clean everything. Um, but I mean, sneakers are. I mean, if you've got nothing else and you don't want to wear boots, sneakers are okay. I like wearing my Converse high tops in the rain, just because they are boots. They are the sneaker boots.
Yeah, and I mean they have the rubber upper. No, I don't know what to call the side
cap,
part.
toe cap. Oh wait, I don't know.
Yeah, they have rubber. So I mean the canvas is gonna get wet if it's like
condoms,
pouring.
Yeah.
They got condoms wrapped around your shoes. That way it won't get wet. But yeah, I mean anything with kind of like a rubber upper is gonna be good. Which is again, to go back, why the bean boot is the perfect rain shoe. Because I don't think we've described them this episode, but if you don't know, they're ugly as fuck, kind of, but in like a charming way. They have a leather upper, but the bottom is 100% rubber. It has all these seams going around them. Some of them come like lined for extra warmth. But yeah, it's like another very like kind of classic Ivy prep East Coast look that I appreciate.
I mean, you could also argue like Danner boots are a good one to wear. Any kind of boot technically is pretty good.
Yeah.
I would also argue a pair of boots are probably good too for like derbies because they're very chunky, and I feel like they're meant because they're like Tyrolean or whatever, like the whatever the triple welt is called or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's everything now. I mean, I don't own bean boots or any other shoe besides besides the ones I've just listed, so I can't really say for certain how they are. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't have a chance to wear them. Just like how this pod is coming out, like basically a month after we actually had rain.
I mean, it's raining this weekend, I think.
Oh, yeah.
40% chance.
Okay, so at least this episode for us will have context, and we'll probably have more to shoot with, and you'll see those outfits on the in the episode, blog post, yeah. But also, if you go through it, I think I've included a couple of pictures of cool rainy day attire. I'm sure Spencer will add some, more casual stuff in there, because mine obviously leads to be a bit more formal, like most things that I do. And of course, you can read more of my own thoughts about it, because I started writing the blog post before I decided to record it as a podcast episode. So please go check that out. It's on streetexprezza.wordpress.com, but it'll be in the link here, and if you follow us on Instagram, you'll also know.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So wait, closing. I'm just going through and thinking of other things. What do you think about duffel coats in the rain?
I feel like I said, so like coats in general are just good for all, like any kind of, precipitation in general, for protection wise. Again, duffel coats are usually made of wool.
Yeah.
And so there's really not much else difference. I think, at least duffel coats have a hood. I haven't seen anyone use a duffel coat hood before.
Yeah.
And even the Drake's ones don't have hoods. They have kind of they have the Cuban collar on those things. So I think if it's raining lightly like it is in California, it's good. But if you're expecting to have something, heavy rain where you can feel that the garment is going to actually get soaked, then obviously trench coat, whether it is double-breasted or a MAC version, is the way to go.
Yep. There is also the anorak jacket, which is yeah, you could see that famous picture in Take Ivy of the guy wearing like a military surplus anorak, which is so cool, and I've wanted one.
Parkas, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which I've wanted since I saw that picture.
Just take it from the picture.
Yeah. Oh, and right next to him in that photo set, there's the guy in the rugby shirt with a bucket hat and shorts, which is another fun kind of rain look.
The anorak is a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's kind of like, for those who don't know, it's kind of like a half zip hoodie. It has its roots in like military wear, and usually there's like a big pocket in the front.
Basically, like a hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hoodie
just made of cotton, whatever, twill or whatever. Or I think nowadays they make them of a technical fabric, which actually might be better.
Yeah.
We haven't really gone into a lot of techie fabrics for the rain. I did mention microfiber, but just because we aren't really used to wearing techie stuff.
Yeah.
other than my of course my Block Tech Uniqlo one. But I mean that's probably your best bet. Like as much as we like vintage clothing, like obviously modern stuff for against the elements. So not talking about like wool for tailoring. Like tech wear for elements is probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion. I'm not sure if anyone else will fight me on that. And then the parka is basically like a duffel coat, in the fact that it's a coat length thing that has a hood.
Mm-hmm.
And parkas are cool. Obviously, I think it'll be even harder to wear that formally. Same thing with the anorak, but also anoraks might be cool with like chinos and a chambray shirt and tie.
Which is I don't know about the shirt because he has it zipped up all the way, but I mean he's wearing it with chinos and loafers.
But basically everyone in that book is wearing it with chinos and loafers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean we'll include all these pictures in the rainy day article.
Uh-huh.
You guys can check it out and hopefully get inspiration from there, because if you guys are anything like me, I get super lazy when it comes to the rain. I really don't look forward to it, and so seeing these inspiration images is one way to help me kind of keep my sartorial thirst quenched, I guess.
Yep.
That's a weird
Always
analogy.
thirsty.
Yeah, thirsty. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Uh-huh. That's our version of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, check it out. Hopefully you guys will not be lazy like me. Mm-hmm. And if you guys aren't, then just enjoy the pictures. Because maybe I'm the only one who gets lazy. Because everyone else I've talked to, including Spencer, is like, oh, I don't mind the rain. I'm like, oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can follow the podcast on Instagram at Style and Direction, all spelled out. It's we post pictures from the article on there. And of course, if you follow it there, you'll know when these come out if you're not subscribed on iTunes or SoundCloud or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to leave us a review on either of those things. It helps people find the podcast and lets us know exactly what you guys like and, if we should keep doing this.
Yep. We like it. We want to keep doing it.
Yeah, and we've had a pretty good schedule so far.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram. I am at Ethan M. Wong.
I'm at Spencer DSO.
And so stay dry, stay stylish.
Stay dry, my friends.
Clay nice, everyone.
Yep.
We've used that, I think, like
I think we have
before. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.